You are not what you have. You are not what you do. You are not even what people think you are. You are what you think you are, and right now, in this very moment, you have the power to change everything about your relationship with abundance, prosperity, and wealth. The energy that surrounds you, the invisible field that some call your aura, is broadcasting a signal every single second of every single day. That signal is either attracting wealth into your life or pushing it away. And here's the beautiful truth that will set you free. You get to decide what that signal says. Most people spend their entire lives believing that wealth is something outside of themselves. They think it's in the bank account, in the stock market, in the real estate, in the business deal. But wealth begins inside you. It starts with your consciousness. It starts with the way you see yourself and the way you see the world. If you walk around feeling poor, feeling lacking, feeling like there's never enough, then that's exactly what you're going to create more of in your life. Your outer world is nothing more than a reflection of your inner world. Change what's happening inside, and you will absolutely, without question, change what's happening outside. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. You're thinking, but I have bills to pay. I have debt. I have obligations. I can't just think my way into wealth. And you're right about one thing. Thinking alone won't do it, but thinking is where it starts. Because you cannot behave in a way that's inconsistent with the way you see yourself. If you see yourself as someone who struggles with money, you will find ways to struggle. If you see yourself as someone who is abundant, who is prosperous, who is connected to the infinite source of all supply, then you will start to behave in ways that are consistent with that vision. And that's when everything changes. Your aura, this energy field that extends from your body, is like a radio station. It's broadcasting a frequency, and the universe responds to that frequency. If you're broadcasting fear, anxiety, and scarcity, you're going to attract more situations that make you feel fearful, anxious, and scarce. But if you start broadcasting confidence, gratitude, and abundance, you're going to start attracting opportunities, people, and circumstances that match that vibration. This isn't mystical nonsense. This is how energy works. This is how consciousness works. This is how life works. Let me tell you something about the universe that most people don't understand. The universe doesn't care about your current circumstances. It doesn't care how much money is in your bank account right now. It doesn't care about your past failures or your present struggles. The universe only responds to the signal you're sending out right now, in this present moment. And that signal is determined by your thoughts, your feelings, and your beliefs. If you want to train your aura to attract wealth, you have to start by changing the conversation you're having with yourself about money. Listen to the words you use when you talk about wealth. Do you say things like, I can't afford that? Do you say, money doesn't grow on trees? Do you say, rich people are greedy? Every single one of those statements is training your aura to repel wealth. Every single one of those beliefs is broadcasting a signal that says, I don't want prosperity. I don't deserve abundance. Keep money away from me. And the universe, in its infinite wisdom, says, your wish is my command, and keeps wealth at arm's length. But what if you started saying different things? What if you started saying, I am open to receiving wealth from expected and unexpected sources? What if you started saying, there is more than enough for everyone, including me? What if you started saying, I am worthy of prosperity and abundance? Do you feel the shift in energy when you say those words? That's your aura changing. That's your frequency rising. That's your signal getting clearer and stronger. Now, let's talk about gratitude, because this is one of the most powerful tools you have for training your aura to attract wealth. When you focus on what you're grateful for, you're telling the universe, I recognize the abundance that's already in my life. And when you recognize the abundance that's already here, the universe sends you more things to be grateful for. This is the law of attraction in its purest form. Like attracts like. Abundance attracts abundance. Gratitude attracts more reasons to be grateful. But here's where most people get it wrong. They think they'll be grateful when they have more money. They think they'll feel abundant when the bank account grows. They think they'll relax about finances when all the bills are paid. But that's backwards. You have to feel grateful now. You have to feel abundant now. You have to feel prosperous now with exactly what you have in this moment before the universe can bring you more. If you're waiting to feel good about money until you have more of it, you're going to be waiting forever, because the feeling comes first and then the manifestation follows. So right now, stop and think about what you're grateful for. Maybe it's the roof over your head. Maybe it's the food in your refrigerator. Maybe it's the ability to read these words. Maybe it's the fact that you woke up this morning with another chance to create the life you want. Whatever it is, feel it. Really feel the gratitude in your body. Let it fill your chest. Let it radiate out from your heart. That feeling, that's the beginning of training your aura to attract wealth. That feeling is changing your frequency right now. Let me share something with you that changed my entire relationship with money. I realized that the universe is abundant by nature. Look around you. Nature doesn't do scarcity. When an apple tree produces apples, does it produce just enough? No, it produces hundreds of apples, and each apple contains dozens of seeds, and each seed can produce another tree that produces hundreds more apples. That's abundance. That's the nature of the universe. Scarcity is a human invention. Scarcity is a belief system that we've been taught, that we've inherited, that we've accepted as truth. But it's not true. There is more than enough. There always has been. There always will be. When you align yourself with this truth, when you really get it in your bones that the universe is infinitely abundant, your entire energy field shifts. You stop competing. You stop hoarding. You stop operating from fear. You start operating from trust. You start operating from faith. You start operating from the knowing that there's plenty for everyone, and that includes you. This shift in consciousness is what trains your aura to attract wealth. Because when you're not desperate, when you're not needy, when you're not coming from a place of lack, you become magnetic to prosperity. Now, I want to talk about something that might be uncomfortable for some of you, but it's essential if you want to transform your relationship with wealth. You have to look at your beliefs about rich people. You have to look at your beliefs about money itself. If you have any resentment toward wealthy people, if you think that money is the root of all evil, if you believe that you have to sacrifice your integrity to become prosperous, then you are sabotaging your own abundance. Because how can you attract something that you're judging? How can you become something that you resent? Money is not good or bad. Money is neutral. Money is energy. It's a tool. It's a resource. It amplifies who you already are. If you're generous, money makes you more generous. If you're kind, money makes you more kind. If you're selfish, money makes you more selfish. The money itself isn't the problem. The problem is when people have a poverty consciousness and they think that having money will solve all their problems. It won't. The only thing that will solve your problems is changing your consciousness. Change your consciousness and the money will follow. But more importantly, change your consciousness and you won't need the money to feel whole, complete, and worthy. This is a critical point, so I'm going to say it again. You cannot attract wealth from a place of believing that you need it to be happy, because that belief contains within it the energy of lack. You're saying, I'm not enough without money. I'm not happy without money. I'm not complete without money. And the universe hears that and says, okay, you're not enough, you're not happy, you're not complete. And it gives you more experiences of not being enough, not being happy, not being complete. This is why so many people who come into sudden wealth through lottery winnings or inheritance end up back where they started or worse. Because they never change their consciousness. They never train their aura to match the frequency of true abundance. True abundance is an inside job. It's a state of being. It's a way of moving through the world. It's knowing that you are connected to the source of all supply, and that source is infinite. When you know this, really know this, you don't grab at money. You don't chase it. You don't obsess over it. You allow it. You welcome it. You receive it with grace and gratitude. And here's the paradox. When you stop chasing money, it starts chasing you. When you stop making it your God, it starts showing up as your servant. Let's talk about the practical side of this, because I know some of you are thinking, this all sounds good, but what do I actually do? Here's what you do. You start each day by setting your intention. Before you get out of bed, before you check your phone, before you start worrying about all the things you have to do, you take a few moments to align your energy with abundance. You say to yourself, I am open to receiving all, the good that the universe has for me today. I am a magnet for prosperity. I expect miracles. I expect synchronicities. I expect abundance to flow to me in expected and unexpected ways. Then throughout your day, you pay attention to your thoughts. When you catch yourself thinking thoughts of lack, thoughts of fear, thoughts of I can't afford this or there's not enough, you stop. You don't judge yourself. You don't beat yourself up. You simply notice the thought and then you choose a different thought. You say, that's an old pattern. That's the old me. The new me thinks differently. The new me knows that there's more than enough. The new me trusts in the abundance of the universe. This takes practice. You've been thinking the old thoughts for years, maybe decades. You've been running the old programs for so long that they feel normal. But they're not serving you. They're keeping you stuck. And the beautiful thing is that you can change them. Right now, in this moment, you can decide that from this point forward, you're going to train your mind to focus on abundance instead of lack. You're going to train your emotions to feel prosperous instead of poor. You're going to train your aura to broadcast a signal of wealth instead of scarcity. And here's something else you need to understand. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. If you want to attract wealth, you have to become the kind of person who has wealth. You have to think like that person. You have to feel like that person. You have to act like that person. This doesn't mean you go out and spend money you don't have. This doesn't mean you pretend to be someone you're not. This means you align your consciousness with the consciousness of abundance. You start seeing opportunities where you used to see obstacles. You start seeing possibilities where you used to see problems. You start seeing abundance where you used to see lack. One of the most powerful ways to train your aura to attract wealth is to give. Now, I know this seems counterintuitive. You're thinking, I don't have enough for myself. How can I give to others? But giving is the ultimate statement of abundance. When you give, you're saying to the universe, I have more than enough. I trust that more is coming. I know that I'm connected to an infinite source. And the universe responds to that faith, to that trust, to that knowing. It says, yes, you are abundant. Here's more. This doesn't mean you give away money you need for rent or food. This means you give from a place of joy, from a place of overflow, even if that overflow is small. Maybe you give $1 to someone who needs it more than you do. Maybe you give your time to a cause you believe in. Maybe you give a genuine compliment to a stranger. Maybe you give a smile to someone who looks like they're having a hard day. Every act of giving raises your vibration. Every act of generosity trains your aura to attract more abundance. And when you give, pay attention to how you feel. If you feel resentful, if you feel like you're giving because you should or because you have to, then that's not true giving, that's obligation. True giving feels good. True giving feels expansive. True giving makes you feel more abundant, not less. When you can give with that feeling, when you can give with joy and gratitude, you're broadcasting a powerful signal to the universe. You're saying, I am prosperous, I am abundant, I have more than enough to share. And that signal attracts more prosperity, more abundance, more wealth. Now, let's talk about your relationship with receiving. This is just as important as giving, maybe even more important. A lot of people are terrible at receiving. They can give all day long, but when someone tries to give to them, they get uncomfortable. They say, oh, you didn't have to do that. They say, oh, that's too much. They say, I can't accept this. Every time you reject a gift, every time you refuse a bed, compliment. Every time you make it hard for the universe to give to you, you're training your aura to repel wealth. You're saying, I'm not worthy. I don't deserve this. Keep it away from me. If you want to attract wealth, you have to learn to receive with grace. When someone gives you a compliment, say thank you. Don't deflect it. Don't downplay it. Just receive it. When someone offers to buy you lunch, let them. Don't make a big deal out of it. Don't immediately offer to pay next time. Just receive it with gratitude. When the universe sends you a gift, whether it's a parking space right in front of the store or a check in the mail you weren't expecting, receive it. Say thank you. Feel the gratitude. Let yourself feel worthy of receiving good things. This is training your aura. This is raising your frequency. This is broadcasting to the universe that you are open to receiving abundance in all its forms. And here's what happens when you get good at receiving. The universe gives you more to receive. Because the universe loves a grateful receiver. The universe loves someone who can accept good things without guilt, without shame, without feeling like they don't deserve it. When you can receive with an open heart, you're telling the universe, yes, I'm ready for more. Yes, I can handle more. Yes, I deserve more. Let me tell you about the power of expectation. What you expect in life is what you tend to get. If you expect things to be hard, they will be hard. If you expect people to disappoint you, they will disappoint you. If you expect to struggle with money, you will struggle with money. But if you expect abundance, if you expect prosperity, if you expect wealth to flow to you easily and naturally, then that's what you'll experience. Your expectations create your reality. They shape your perception. They direct your attention. They determine what you notice and what you miss. So ask yourself right now, what do I expect when it comes to money? Do I expect to struggle? Do I expect to just get by? Do I expect to barely make ends meet? Or do I expect to prosper? Do I expect to thrive? Do I expect wealth to come to me in wonderful and unexpected ways? Your honest answer to this question will tell you everything you need to know about why your financial life looks the way it does. And the good news is, you can change your expectations right now. You can decide right now that from this point forward, you expect abundance, you expect prosperity, you expect wealth. And when you change your expectations, you have to change your self-talk. The words you say to yourself matter. They matter more than the words anyone else says to you. Because you're with yourself 24 hours a day. You're listening to your own voice constantly. And if that voice is saying, I'm broke, I'm poor, I never have enough, money slips through my fingers, I'm not good with money, then that's the reality you're creating. That's the signal you're broadcasting. That's what your aura is attracting. But what if you started saying different things to yourself? What if you started saying, I am prosperous. Money flows to me easily. I am a money magnet. I am aligned with the energy of abundance. I am worthy of wealth. I am capable of managing large sums of money. I am financially free. How different would that feel? How different would your energy be if you talked to yourself this way every single day? Your aura would transform, your frequency would rise, your entire experience of life would change. Here's something most people don't realize about wealth. It's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. And more importantly, it's about your consciousness around money. I've known people who make millions and feel poor. I've known people who make very little and feel rich. The difference is consciousness. The difference is how they see themselves. The difference is the story they tell themselves about money and about their relationship with it. You can have all the money in the world and still have a poverty consciousness. Or you can have very little money and have an abundance consciousness. Which one do you think attracts more wealth? The abundance consciousness always wins. Always. Because it's not attached to the outer circumstances. It knows that abundance is a state of being, not a state of having. It knows that true wealth is about feeling full, feeling satisfied, feeling like you have enough and you are enough. When you operate from that place, when you move through the world with that consciousness, you become magnetic, you attract opportunities, you attract the right people, you attract the right circumstances, you attract wealth. Now, I want to address something that stops a lot of people from attracting wealth: guilt. So many people feel guilty about wanting money. They feel guilty about wanting nice things. They feel guilty about wanting to live comfortably. They think that wanting wealth makes them materialistic or shallow or selfish. And this guilt is like poison to your aura. It contaminates your energy field. It sends mixed signals to the universe. On one hand, you're saying you want wealth. On the other hand, you're saying you shouldn't want wealth. And the universe gets confused. It doesn't know which signal to respond to. So it responds to the stronger signal, which is usually the guilt, the shame, the belief that you don't deserve it. Let me make this clear. There is nothing wrong with wanting wealth. There is nothing wrong with wanting to live in a beautiful home, drive a nice car, travel the world, give generously to causes you believe in, provide for your family, and live a life of comfort and ease. The only question that matters is, why do you want these things? If you want them because you think they'll make you better than other people, if you want them because you're trying to fill a hole inside yourself, if you want them to prove something to someone, then that's coming from ego. That's coming from lack. And that won't lead to true fulfillment. But if you want wealth so you can live your purpose more fully, if you want it so you can serve more people, if you want it so you can enjoy this beautiful life and share your joy with others, if you want it so you can be a living example of what's possible when you align with the abundance of the universe, then that's coming from spirit. That's coming from your highest self. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. In fact, the world needs more people who are comfortable with wealth, who can handle wealth, who can use wealth as a tool for good. So release the guilt, release the shame, release the belief that wanting wealth makes you a bad person. It doesn't. What makes you a good or bad person is what you do with the wealth once you have it. And I'm going to trust that if you're listening to these words, if you're open to this message, then you're the kind of person who would use wealth in beautiful ways. You're the kind of person who would be generous. You're the kind of person who would make a positive difference in the world. So let yourself want wealth. Let yourself desire abundance. Let yourself feel worthy of prosperity. Your worthiness is not something you earn. It's not something you have to prove. You are worthy simply because you exist. You are a divine expression of the infinite universe, and the universe wants you to thrive. The universe wants you to prosper. The universe wants you to experience abundance in all its forms. The only thing standing between you and the wealth you desire is your belief that you can't have it, or that you don't deserve it, or that it's not spiritual to want it. These are just thoughts. These are just beliefs. And thoughts and beliefs can be changed. Let me share with you a practice that will transform your aura and magnetize you to wealth. Every morning when you wake up, before you do anything else, take a few moments to feel what it would feel like to already have the wealth you desire. Don't think about it. Don't visualize it. Feel it. Feel what it would feel like to check your bank account and see a number that makes you smile. Feel what it would feel like to pay your bills without stress. Feel what it would feel like to buy something you want without having to check the price. Feel what it would feel like to be generous without worrying about your own needs. Feel what it would feel like to be financially free. Really get into that feeling. Let it fill your entire body. Let it radiate from your cells. Let it expand beyond your skin and fill the space around you. That feeling is changing your aura right now. That feeling is raising your frequency. That feeling is broadcasting a signal to the universe that says, I am wealthy, I am abundant, I am prosperous. And the universe, which always responds to your frequency, starts arranging circumstances, people, and opportunities to match that feeling. This is not magic. This is not wishful thinking. This is how energy works. This is how consciousness creates reality. And then, throughout your day, come back to that feeling as often as you can. When you're stuck in traffic, feel wealthy. When you're doing mundane tasks, feel prosperous. When you're interacting with people, feel abundant. The more you can stay in that frequency, the faster you'll see changes in your outer world. Because your outer world is always a reflection of your inner world. Always. No exceptions. Now, I want to talk about action because some people think that this is all just about sitting around and feeling good and waiting for money to fall from the sky. That's not what this is about. Feeling good is essential. Raising your frequency is essential. Training your aura is essential. But you also have to take inspired action. You have to move when you feel moved. You have to act when you feel called. The difference is that when you're operating from an abundance consciousness, your actions are inspired. They're not forced. They're not desperate. They're not driven by fear. They're guided by intuition, by inner knowing, by a sense of rightness. When you're in the right frequency, when your aura is trained to attract wealth, opportunities will present themselves to you. You'll meet the right person at the right time. You'll hear about the perfect opportunity. You'll get an idea that feels exciting and aligned. And when that happens, you have to act. You have to trust. You have to move forward, even if you don't know exactly how it's going to work out. Because the universe rewards action. The universe rewards faith. The universe rewards those who are willing to step into the unknown and trust that they'll be supported. But here's the key. You act from a place of abundance, not from a place of lack. You act because you feel inspired, not because you feel desperate. You act because it feels right, not because you're afraid of what will happen if you don't. This is the difference between hustling and flowing. Hustling is exhausting. It's depleting. It comes from the belief that you have to force things to happen, that you have to make things work through sheer willpower. Flowing is effortless. It's energizing. It comes from the belief that the universe is supporting you, that you're being guided, that things are working out for you. When you flow, you work smarter, not harder. You're in the right place at the right time. You say the right thing to the right person. You have ideas that solve problems in elegant ways. This is what happens when your aura is trained to attract wealth. You become a conduit for abundance. You become a channel through which prosperity flows. And the beautiful thing is that when you're in this state, you don't just attract wealth for yourself, you become a source of abundance for others. You inspire them, you uplift them, you show them what's possible. You become a living example of what it means to be aligned with the infinite abundance of the universe. Let's talk about forgiveness, because this is a crucial piece that many people miss. If you're holding on to resentment, if you're angry at someone who wronged you financially, if you're bitter about past failures or mistakes, you're blocking the flow of abundance. Resentment is like a dam in your energy field. It stops the flow. It creates stagnation. It broadcasts a signal of victimhood, of powerlessness, of life happens to me. And as long as you're broadcasting that signal, you cannot attract wealth. Because wealth requires you to feel powerful, to feel in control of your life, to feel like you're the creator of your reality. So you have to forgive. You have to forgive the person who didn't pay you back. You have to forgive yourself for the financial mistakes you made. You have to forgive your parents for the beliefs about money they passed down to you. You have to forgive the system, the economy, the circumstances that you think held you back. Not because they deserve forgiveness, not because what they did was okay, but because you deserve freedom. You deserve to be free of the weight of resentment. You deserve to have your energy flow freely. You deserve to have a clear, clean aura that can attract all the abundance that's waiting for you. Forgiveness is not about them, it's about you. It's about choosing your freedom over your rightness. It's about choosing your prosperity over your story of victimhood. And when you forgive, when you really let go, you'll feel a shift in your body. You'll feel lighter. You'll feel more open. You'll feel more available for good things to come into your life. That's your aura clearing. That's your frequency rising. That's the dam breaking and the flow resuming. Here's another powerful truth. You are not separate from the universe. You are not separate from the source of all abundance. You are an extension of it. You are an expression of it. The same intelligence that created galaxies and stars and planets and all of life is the intelligence that lives within you. And that intelligence knows how to create wealth. It knows how to attract abundance. It knows how to manifest prosperity. Your job is not to figure out how. Your job is to get out of the way. Your job is to stop blocking the flow with your doubts, your fears, your limiting beliefs, your old stories. Your job is to align yourself with the intelligence that created you, and then let it work through you. This is what it means to train your aura to attract wealth. It's not about learning some technique or trick. It's not about manipulating energy or trying to force the universe to give you what you want. It's about remembering who you are. It's about reconnecting with your source. It's about aligning yourself with the natural flow of abundance that is your birthright. When you do this, when you really get this, everything changes. Your entire life transforms. Not just your bank account, but your relationships, your health, your sense of purpose, your joy, your peace. Everything elevates because you've elevated your consciousness. And here's what I want you to understand. This is not a one-time thing. This is not something you do once and then you're set for life. This is a practice. This is a way of being. This is a daily commitment to choosing abundance over lack, to choosing trust over fear, to choosing love over judgment. Some days will be easier than others. Some days you'll feel connected and aligned and magnetic. Other days you'll feel disconnected and doubtful and discouraged. That's okay. That's part of being human. The key is to not give up. The key is to keep coming back to the practices that raise your frequency. The key is to be patient with yourself and trust the process. Because the process works. It works for everyone who applies it. It doesn't matter where you're starting from. It doesn't matter how much debt you have or how little money is in your account right now. It doesn't matter what your background is or what your education level is or what anyone has told you about your potential. None of that matters. The only thing that matters is your willingness to change your consciousness, your willingness to train your aura, your willingness to align yourself with the abundance that is your true nature. And when you do this, when you really commit to this, you'll start to notice synchronicities. You'll start to notice coincidences that are too perfect to be random. You'll start to notice doors opening that you didn't even know existed. You'll start to notice money coming to you from unexpected sources. Someone will offer you a job. A client will show up. An idea will come to you. An investment will pay off. A debt will be forgiven. Something will happen that wouldn't have happened if you hadn't changed your energy. That's your aura attracting wealth. That's the universe responding to your new frequency. Let me tell you what wealth really is. It's not a number in a bank account. It's not a house or a car or a vacation. Those are just symbols of wealth. True wealth is a state of consciousness. It's the feeling of being enough. It's the feeling of having enough. It's the feeling of being connected to an infinite source that will always provide for you. When you have that feeling, when you live from that place, the outer symbols of wealth follow naturally. They have to. Because the outer world always conforms to the inner world. This is not a maybe. This is not a sometimes. This is always. This is law. This is how the universe works. So stop chasing money. Start raising your consciousness. Stop trying to get wealth. Start being wealthy in your mind, in your heart, in your energy field. Stop looking outside yourself for the answer. Start looking inside yourself for the source. Because the source is there. It's always been there. It's waiting for you to recognize it, to acknowledge it, to align with it. And when you do, when you really tap into that infinite source within you, you'll realize that you've never been separate from abundance. You've never been lacking. You've never been poor. You've just been focused on the wrong thing. You've been focused on what you don't have instead of what you already have. You've been focused on the form instead of the substance. You've been focused on the outer instead of the inner. Turn your attention inward. Feel the abundance that's already within you. Feel the wealth of your being. Feel the prosperity of your spirit. Feel the richness of your consciousness. You are not a body that has a soul. You are a soul that has a body. And your soul is connected to everything, to everyone, to the entire universe. Your soul knows no lack. Your soul knows no limitation. Your soul is pure abundance. When you identify with your soul instead of your circumstances, everything changes. Your aura changes. Your frequency changes. Your life changes. This is the message I want you to take with you today. You are abundant. You are prosperous. You are wealthy beyond measure, not because of what you have, but because of what you are. You are an infinite being, having a temporary human experience. You are a divine expression of the creative force of the universe. You are worthy of all good things. You are deserving of wealth, health, love, joy, peace, and everything else your heart desires, not because you've earned it, not because you've worked hard enough, but simply because you exist, simply because you are. Train your aura to broadcast this truth. Train your mind to think from this truth. Train your heart to feel from this truth. Train your actions to come from this truth. And watch what happens. Watch how your life transforms. Watch how opportunities appear. Watch how money flows. Watch how abundance becomes your natural state. Because it is your natural state. It's who you've always been. You've just forgotten, but now you're remembering. And that remembering is changing everything. The universe is abundant. You are the universe. Therefore, you are abundant. It's that simple. Let go of everything that contradicts this truth. Let go of every belief, every thought, every feeling, every story that says you can't have wealth, you don't deserve wealth, you're not capable of wealth. Those are lies. Those are illusions. Those are programs you inherited from people who didn't know any better. But you know better now. You know the truth, and the truth will set you free. The truth will make you wealthy, not just financially, but in every way that matters. So go forth from this moment with a new consciousness. Go forth with a new energy. Go forth with a new aura that is trained to attract wealth in all its forms. Know that you are supported. Know that you are guided. Know that you are loved by a universe that wants nothing more than for you to thrive. Trust this. Believe this. Live from this. And watch your entire life become a testament to the infinite abundance that is your true nature. You are wealthy. You always have been. You always will be. Now claim it, own it, embody it. And let your aura shine with the unmistakable frequency of prosperity, abundance, and wealth. You know, there's a voice inside you right now, it's been there your whole life, whispering to you, guiding you, nudging you in certain directions. Most people ignore it. They push it aside because they're too busy listening to all the other voices, the voices of doubt, the voices of fear, the voices of what other people think they should do. But that quiet voice, that gentle knowing that comes from somewhere beyond your thinking mind, that's the voice of God speaking directly to you through your intuition. And I want to talk to you about this because it's the most important conversation you'll ever have with yourself. It's about learning to trust that inner knowing, that feeling in your gut that tells you yes or no before your mind even has time to analyze it. That's not just some random feeling. That's divine guidance. That's the universe. That's God. That's the highest part of yourself communicating with you in the only way that bypasses all the noise and confusion of your everyday thinking. Think about the times in your life when you knew something without knowing how you knew it. You met someone and instantly felt you could trust them. Or maybe you felt the opposite. A warning bell went off inside you, even though on the surface everything seemed fine. You were about to make a decision, and something inside you said, wait, not yet, or go now, this is your moment. That wasn't luck. That wasn't coincidence. That was intuition. That was God speaking to you in a language that doesn't use words. Most of us have been trained from childhood to ignore this inner voice. We've been taught to rely only on logic, only on what we can see and measure and prove. We've been told to listen to authorities, to experts, to anyone but ourselves. And so we've learned to override that inner knowing. We've learned to talk ourselves out of what we feel in our hearts. We say things like, I'm just being silly, or that's not logical, or what will people think? And in doing so, we disconnect from the very source of wisdom that's trying to guide us toward our highest good. But here's what I want you to understand. Your intuition is not separate from God. It's not separate from the creative intelligence that runs the entire universe. The same force that causes a seed to become a tree, that causes your heart to beat without you thinking about it, that organizes galaxies and seasons and the perfect timing of everything in nature, that same intelligence is inside you, speaking to you, guiding you, if only you'll listen. When you get a feeling about something, when you have a hunch, when something just feels right or wrong to you, that's not random. That's information coming from a source that knows more than your conscious mind knows. Your conscious mind only knows what it's learned, what it's been taught, what it's experienced. But your intuition is connected to infinite intelligence. It knows things your mind hasn't learned yet. It sees patterns your eyes can't see. It understands connections that your logical brain can't figure out. And the beautiful thing is everyone has this. It's not a gift that only special people have. It's not something you need to develop or earn. It's already there. It's been there since the day you were born. In fact, watch little children. They're completely guided by their intuition. They know when they're tired, when they're hungry, what makes them happy, who they want to be around. They haven't learned yet to second guess themselves, to analyze everything to death, to worry about what everyone else thinks. They just follow their inner guidance naturally. But then we grow up, and we get taught to distrust that inner voice. We get taught to fit in, to follow the rules, to do what's expected, to be practical, to be realistic. And slowly, bit by bit, we learn to disconnect from our intuition. We learn to ignore it. We learn to make decisions based on what we think we should do rather than what we feel called to do. And then we wonder why we feel lost. We wonder why we feel like something's missing. We wonder why we're not happy even though we're doing everything we're supposed to do. The reason is simple. We've cut ourselves off from our guidance system. We're trying to navigate life without the compass that was built into us. We're trying to find our way using only our thinking mind, which is limited, which is based on past experiences and conditioning, which is full of fears and doubts and other people's opinions. And our thinking mind alone is not enough. It will lead us in circles. It will keep us stuck in patterns that don't serve us. It will convince us to play it safe, to stay small, to avoid taking the risks that our soul is calling us to take. But when you learn to listen to your intuition, when you learn to trust that inner voice, everything changes. Suddenly you have access to wisdom that goes beyond anything you've learned in books or schools. You have access to guidance that's perfectly tailored to you, to your unique path, to your specific circumstances. You have access to a knowing that always points you toward your highest good. Now, let me be clear about something. Your intuition doesn't speak to you the way your thinking mind speaks to you. Your thinking mind is loud. It talks constantly. It analyzes, it judges, it worries, it plans, it rehashes the past, it projects into the future. It's like a radio that's always on, always chattering away. But your intuition is quiet. It's subtle. It's a feeling, a knowing, a gentle nudge. It doesn't argue with you. It doesn't try to convince you. It just presents itself and then waits patiently for you to notice it. This is why so many people miss it. They're waiting for some loud, dramatic sign. They're waiting for God to speak to them in thunder and lightning. But God doesn't work that way. God speaks in whispers. God speaks in feelings. God speaks in that still small voice that you can only hear when you quiet your mind and turn your attention inward. And here's the thing about intuition. It always speaks in the present moment. It doesn't dwell on the past. It doesn't worry about the future. It simply tells you what's true right now, what's right for you right now, what you need to know right now. Your thinking mind loves to time travel. It's constantly replaying yesterday or rehearsing tomorrow. But your intuition is anchored in the now, because that's where God is, that's where life is, that's where your power is. So how do you learn to hear this voice more clearly? How do you strengthen your connection to your intuition? The first step is to get quiet. You've got to create space in your life for silence, for stillness, for just being instead of constantly doing. This is why meditation is so powerful. It's not about achieving some special state or having mystical experiences. It's simply about quieting your thinking mind long enough that you can hear the other voice, the intuitive voice, the voice of your higher self. You don't need to meditate for hours. Even 5 minutes of sitting quietly, breathing, letting your thoughts settle, that's enough to begin building this connection. Think of it like tuning a radio. When there's too much static, you can't hear the music. But when you tune the dial just right, suddenly the music comes through crystal clear. That's what happens when you quiet your mind. The static of your thoughts dies down, and you can hear the signal of your intuition coming through. The second step is to pay attention to how your body feels. Your intuition speaks through your body. It gives you feelings. Some people feel it in their gut. That's why we call it a gut feeling. Some people feel it in their chest, in their heart. Some people feel it as a tingling or a warmth or a sense of expansion when something is right, and a sense of contraction or heaviness when something is wrong. Your body is constantly giving you feedback about what's aligned for you and what isn't. But you have to tune in. You have to notice. Start asking yourself, how does this feel? Not, what do I think about this? But how does this feel? When you're making a decision, when you're considering different options, pause and check in with your body. Does this option make you feel light and open and energized? Or does it make you feel heavy and tight and drained? Your body knows. Your body is receiving information from your intuition all the time. You just have to learn to read the signals. The third step is to trust what you receive, even when it doesn't make logical sense. This is the hardest part for most people. Your intuition might tell you to turn left when logic says turn right. It might tell you to wait when everyone else says hurry up. It might tell you to go for something when your mind says it's impossible. And you have to be willing to trust it anyway. This doesn't mean you become reckless or ignore practical considerations. It means you give your intuition equal weight, maybe even more weight, than your logical analysis. It means you're willing to act on inner guidance even when you can't explain it, even when you can't justify it to other people, even when it doesn't fit into your plans or your timeline. And here's what happens when you start doing this. At first, you might feel uncertain. You might question yourself. You might wonder if you're just making things up. But if you stick with it, if you keep following those intuitive nudges, you'll start to see results. Things will work out in ways you couldn't have planned. Opportunities will show up at just the right time. You'll avoid problems that you didn't even know were there. You'll meet people who are exactly who you needed to meet. And gradually, you'll build trust in this inner guidance system. Every time you follow your intuition and it leads you to something good, your trust deepens. Every time you ignore your intuition and regret it later, you learn to take it more seriously next time. It's a relationship you're building, a relationship with the highest, wisest part of yourself, with the divine intelligence that's always looking out for you. Now, I want to address something important. Some people worry that if they follow their intuition, they'll become flaky or irresponsible. They worry that intuition is just another word for wishful thinking or self-indulgence. But that's not what intuition is at all. Real intuition never leads you towards something that harms you or others. It never tells you to be cruel or selfish or destructive. That's not intuition. That's ego, that's fear, that's desire masquerading as intuition. Real intuition always leads you toward love, toward growth, toward your highest good and the highest good of everyone involved. It might lead you out of your comfort zone. It might ask you to make changes that feel scary. It might require you to disappoint some people or go against convention. But it will never lead you towards something that's truly harmful. It will never lead you away from your integrity. So how do you tell the difference between intuition and ego? Intuition feels calm, even when it's telling you to do something bold. Ego feels frantic and pushy. Intuition is patient. Ego is urgent. Intuition comes with a sense of peace, even if there's also excitement or nervousness. Ego comes with anxiety and doubt. Intuition says, this is your path. Ego says, you have to do this or else. When you get a true intuitive hit, there's a quality of knowing that's unmistakable. It's not a hope or a wish or a preference. It's simply a knowing. You just know. And even if your mind immediately starts arguing with it, even if your mind starts listing all the reasons why it won't work or it's not practical or it's too risky, underneath all that mental chatter, the knowing remains. That's intuition. And here's something else I want you to understand. Your intuition is always guiding you toward your purpose, toward what you're here to do, toward the fullest expression of who you really are. It's not random guidance. It's not just helping you avoid problems or make good choices, although it does that too. It's trying to lead you toward your destiny. You have a unique contribution to make in this world. You have gifts and talents and perspectives that no one else has in quite the same combination. And there's a way for you to express those gifts, a way for you to be of service, a way for you to create and contribute and make a difference that's perfectly suited to who you are. Your intuition knows what that is. Your intuition is constantly trying to steer you in that direction. But you have to be willing to follow it, even when it takes you off the beaten path. Even when it leads you away from what you thought you wanted or what you thought you were supposed to do. Even when it doesn't match other people's expectations or definitions of success. Your intuition doesn't care about impressing anyone. It doesn't care about status or money or approval. It only cares about aligning you with your true path. And when you're on your true path, when you're aligned with your intuition, life flows differently. Synchronicities happen. The right doors open. The right people show up. Things that would have been struggles become easier. This doesn't mean life becomes perfect or problem-free. It means you're working with the current instead of against it. You're moving in harmony with the universe instead of fighting it. Think of a river. When you try to swim upstream, it's exhausting. You're using all your energy just to make a little bit of progress, and as soon as you stop struggling, you get pushed right back. But when you turn around and swim with the current, suddenly everything is effortless. You're still swimming, you're still making effort, but the river is helping you. That's what it's like when you follow your intuition. You're aligning with a force that's much bigger than you, and it carries you forward. Now, following your intuition doesn't mean sitting around and waiting for signs. It doesn't mean being passive. It means being active and engaged with your life, but from a place of inner guidance rather than outer pressure. It means taking action, but action that feels inspired rather than forced. It means moving forward, but in a direction that feels true to you rather than a direction that someone else says you should go. And sometimes your intuition will tell you to do things that seem small or insignificant. It might tell you to call someone, to take a different route home, to pick up a certain book, to go to a certain place. And these little nudges often lead to big things. You call someone and they tell you about an opportunity. You take a different route and avoid an accident. You pick up a book and it contains exactly the information you needed. You go to a place and you meet someone who changes your life. This is how God works through your intuition. It's not usually big, dramatic interventions. It's these gentle nudges, these small course corrections that add up over time to completely change the trajectory of your life. But you have to be paying attention. You have to be willing to follow the guidance even when you don't see the bigger picture. And that's another thing about intuition. It doesn't usually give you the whole plan. It gives you the next step. It says, do this now, but it doesn't necessarily tell you why or where it's leading. This requires faith. This requires trust. This requires being willing to take one step without knowing what the second step will be. Most people want guarantees. They want to see the whole staircase before they take the first step. But that's not how intuition works. That's not how life works. You have to be willing to step into the unknown, trusting that the next step will be revealed when you need it. This is what it means to live by faith. Not blind faith, but faith in your inner guidance, faith in the divine intelligence that's directing your life. And let me tell you something. The more you follow your intuition, the stronger it gets. It's like a muscle. The more you use it, the more developed it becomes. At first, you might only get occasional flashes of insight. But as you pay attention and trust what you receive, the guidance becomes clearer, more frequent, more specific. You develop a constant dialogue with your higher self, with God. You start living from the inside out instead of the outside in. Instead of looking to the world to tell you what to do, you look within. Instead of basing your decisions on what's popular or expected or safe, you base them on what feels true to you. Instead of trying to figure everything out with your mind, you tap into a wisdom that's far greater than your mind. And this changes everything. It changes how you make decisions. It changes what you pursue. It changes who you spend time with. It changes how you see yourself and your place in the world. You stop feeling like a victim of circumstances. You stop feeling lost or confused. You start feeling guided, supported, connected to something vast and loving and intelligent that's always with you, always helping you, always showing you the way. This is what it means to have a relationship with God. Not a relationship based on beliefs or doctrines or rituals, although those can have their place, but a living, breathing, moment-to-moment relationship where you're constantly receiving guidance and responding to it, where you're constantly in conversation with the divine intelligence that created you and knows you better than you know yourself. And God speaks to everyone this way, not just to special people or holy people or enlightened people, to everyone. The voice of intuition is available to every single human being because we're all connected to the same source. We're all expressions of the same creative intelligence. We all have access to the same infinite wisdom. The question is not whether God is speaking to you. The question is whether you're listening. The question is whether you've learned to quiet your mind enough to hear the quiet voice. The question is whether you trust yourself enough to follow what you hear. And if you've been ignoring your intuition, if you've been overriding it or dismissing it or explaining it away, it's not too late. It's never too late to start listening. That voice hasn't gone away. It's still there right now, waiting patiently for you to turn your attention to it. All you have to do is get quiet, tune in, and ask. Ask and you will receive. This isn't just a nice saying, it's a law of how the universe works. When you ask with genuine openness and willingness to hear, the answer comes, not always in the form you expect, not always immediately, but it comes. Sometimes the answer is a feeling. Sometimes it's a thought that pops into your head. Sometimes it's something you overhear or read or see that suddenly makes everything clear. The universe, God, your higher self, is always responding to you. You're never alone in this. You're never without guidance. Even in your darkest moments, even when you feel lost and confused, the guidance is there. You just have to remember to check in, to ask, to listen. And when you do this consistently, when you make it a practice to tune into your intuition every day, multiple times a day, you begin to live a completely different quality of life. You stop second-guessing yourself so much. You stop getting paralyzed by decisions. You stop feeling like you have to have all the answers figured out. You relax into a trust that you're being guided, that you're on your path, that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. This doesn't mean you become complacent or stop growing. Actually, the opposite happens. When you're aligned with your intuition, you grow faster than ever because you're not wasting energy going in wrong directions. You're not spending years pursuing things that aren't meant for you. You're moving efficiently toward what is meant for you, toward the fullest expression of your potential. And along the way, you start to notice how magical life really is. You start to see the perfection in everything. You start to recognize that even the things that seemed like mistakes or setbacks at the time were actually part of a bigger plan, leading you to exactly where you needed to be. You start to see the hand of God in everything, not as some distant puppet master pulling strings, but as an intelligence that's woven into the fabric of your life, guiding you from within. This is living in partnership with the divine. This is co-creating your life with God. You bring your willingness, your effort, your humanity, and God brings the wisdom, the guidance, the grace that makes everything possible. Together, There's nothing you can't handle. Nowhere. You can't go, nothing you can't create. Your intuition is God's gift to you. It's the communication system that allows you to stay connected to your source, to stay aligned with your purpose, to stay on your path no matter what's happening around you. It's the most valuable tool you have for navigating this life. More valuable than your education, more valuable than your connections, more valuable than your experience. Because all those things are external. They can be lost or taken away. But your intuition is internal. It's part of you. It can never be lost or taken away. It's always there, always accessible, always ready to guide you if you're willing to listen. So I encourage you, starting today, starting right now, make a commitment to yourself to listen to your intuition. Make a commitment to quiet your mind regularly so you can hear that still small voice. Make a commitment to trust what you feel even when it doesn't make logical sense. Make a commitment to follow the nudges. Take the inspired actions. Go where you're being called to go. You might not understand why. You might not see how it's all going to work out. But trust the process. Trust the guidance. Trust that the same intelligence that's keeping your heart beating and the planet spinning knows what it's doing in your life too. And watch what happens. Watch how your life begins to align. Watch how opportunities appear. Watch how problems resolve. Watch how you start to feel more peaceful, more confident, more certain of your path. Watch how you start to experience the flow, the synchronicity, the grace that comes from living in alignment with your intuition. This is not some new age fantasy. This is how life is meant to be lived. This is what it means to be fully human and fully connected to the divine at the same time. This is your birthright. This is what's possible for you when you remember who you really are and reconnect with the source of wisdom that's always within you. God is speaking to you right now through your intuition. The question is, are you listening? Are you willing to trust what you hear? Are you ready to follow where it leads? Because on the other side of that willingness, on the other side of that trust, is a life beyond anything your thinking mind could plan or imagine. A life of purpose, of meaning, of contribution, a life that's uniquely yours, perfectly suited to who you really are. That life is waiting for you. Your intuition is the map that will take you there. All you have to do is follow it, one step at a time, one choice at a time, one moment at a time. And as you do, you'll find yourself becoming more and more of who you were always meant to be. You'll find yourself living from a place of inner peace and outer purpose. You'll find yourself experiencing the joy and the freedom that comes from being aligned with the divine will, which is not separate from your own true will, but is actually the deepest expression of it. So listen to that voice within you. Trust it. Honor it. Follow it. It's been waiting your whole life for you to pay attention. It has so much to show you, so much to teach you, so much to give you. It's the voice of love, the voice of wisdom, the voice of God speaking directly to your heart, guiding you home to yourself, guiding you forward into the magnificent life you came here to live. Every single day and every single moment, you have the opportunity to check in with your intuition and let it guide you. You have the opportunity to choose alignment over resistance, trust over fear, inner wisdom over outer noise. And every time you make that choice, you strengthen the connection. Every time you honor your intuition, you deepen your relationship with the divine. Every time you follow that inner guidance, you take another step toward becoming the fullest, most authentic version of yourself. This is the path. This is the way. This is how you live a life that matters, a life that's true, a life that's yours. Not by following someone else's map or someone else's rules or someone else's definition of success, but by following the guidance that comes from within, the voice of God speaking through your intuition, showing you the way that only you can walk, calling you toward the destiny that only you can fulfill. So trust yourself. Trust that inner knowing. Trust that quiet voice. It's the wisest teacher you'll ever have, the most faithful friend you'll ever know, the truest guide you'll ever follow. It's God whispering in your ear every moment of every day, telling you exactly what you need to know, showing you exactly where you need to go, helping you become exactly who you were always meant to be. Listen, trust, follow, and watch your life transform into something more beautiful than you ever dreamed possible. Because that's what happens when you let God speak to you through your intuition and you have the courage to listen. That's what happens when you stop living from the outside in and start living from the inside out. That's what happens when you remember that you're not alone, you're not lost, you're not without guidance. You have everything you need right inside you, right now, in this moment. Your intuition is waiting, God is waiting, your highest life is waiting. All you have to do is tune in, turn inward, and trust what you find there. The rest will unfold naturally, beautifully, perfectly as it was always meant to. This is your invitation. This is your reminder. This is your truth. You are guided. You are loved. You are being led to exactly where you need to be, one intuitive nudge at a time. Trust it, follow it, live it, and become the magnificent being you came here to be.